Hello, everyone. This is Kendra Dix. We start off with some very, very sad news that the report that legendary performer of the NWO, a founding member of the NWO, Scott Hall, has passed away at the age of 63 years old. Scott Hall, many of you may know who Scott Hall was throughout different promotions from the NWA, AWA, in his biggest run as Razor Ramon in the WWE. In the He returned back to WCW as leading with Hall with Nash and Hogan to form the legendary New World Order. Scott Hall paved the way for a lot of wrestlers. He had even he was the smartest man in wrestling to not be a booker, but he knew how to book on the fly, and Scott Hall will be missed. We'll talk to the latest about Scott Hall's the life, legacy, and career of the legendary Scott Hall. We'll talk about him later. Also, too, on the Raw Ring Report, Kevin Owens answers Stone Cold's challenge. We know Kevin Owens put up the challenge to confront Stone Cold Steve Austin, and he would do so at WrestleMania on the KO show. Kevin Owens had a lot to say on his mind about the Texas Rattlesnake. Plus, two, Randy Orton and Riddle. What a phenomenal match they had last week on Raw, winning, recapturing the Raw Tag Team Championship. They celebrate in victory in style as well. But let's take a moment to mourn the loss of one of the greatest technicians, the greatest big man, Scott Hall. Scott Hall was a pioneer. I mean, Scott Hall was a pioneer in wrestling, becoming Razor Ramon as a Scarface theme like character. He presented himself. You can tell when Scott Hall came across that TV screen, you knew he was a star. And he was in some major matches. He was in a match against Shawn Michaels. Who can forget WrestleMania 10 in 1994 when Scott Hall and Shawn Michaels competed? Who was going to be the undisputed Intercontinental Champion? And Scott Hall on that night became the undisputed Intercontinental Champion. And what a moment you can see right here. This is the moment right here that everyone's been talking about. Scott Hall raising both championships, becoming made to me made him a star. And I remember that match so well. That's one of the matches I can remember from 1994. That match right there um showcased a lot on that day and that night. So Scott Hall. Who can forget Scott Hall legendary run when he came when he was sick and tired of being in WWE. He wanted to make some changes. He wanted more money. And who can blame him? Scott Hall decided to go to WCW on Memorial Day 1996, and he changed the landscape of wrestling. He changed the business. He said that you know who I am, and then the rest was history. Scott Hall was a founding member of the NWO along with Hulk Hogan and Kevin Nash. Scott Hall will what can you say? A great technician. Winning against Shawn Michaels. A lot of man. Who forget his match against the 1, 2, 3 kid? Shawn Michaels. I mean, he was Scott Hall was that. He was an incredible performer. Even his teammate Kevin Nash wrote the somber note left on Instagram of he's had to prepare life without Scott, and it was a heartfelt message, a heartfelt tribute, and I can read as quote. That's what he had said yesterday. Scott is on life support. Once his family is in place, they will discuss to discontinue life support. I'm going to lose the person on this planet I spent the most of my life with than anyone else. My heart is broken. I'm very effing sad. I love Scott with all my heart, but now I have to prepare a life without him in the present. I have been blessed to have a friend that took me at face value and him. We jumped to WCW, didn't care who liked it and our hated. We had each other, and with the smooth Barry Bloom changed the wrestling both in content and pay those a lot that disliked us. We were the outsiders, but we had each other. Scott always felt he wasn't worthy of the afterlife. But God had some gold plated toothpicks for my brother. My life was enriched with him. Take on life. It wasn't perfect, but as he said, the last perfect person was to walk on the planet and nail him to a cross. As we prepare as life without him, just remember there goes a great guy. You're going to see another one like him ever again. See you down the road, Scott. I couldn't love you like a human being any more than I do. That's prominent words and fun, fitting words from Kevin Nash, who wrote that about Scott Hall on Instagram. Um, Scott Hall, like I said, led a path, and you can tell right here, Scott Hall did influence a lot. You can tell the stars, so Scott Hall influenced even a Pope and everybody else. Um, even I think WWE did a post for Scott Hall remembering him. Um, like I said, one thing about I can remember about Scott Hall is from the NW from the Razor Ramon days in the NWO. And Scott Hall came across like he was a bad guy. He was a cool guy, and he made bad look cool. And Scott Hall he came real. He had his demons. With with alcohol, he had his close counters with death, but he always managed to outweigh it. That was cool about Scott Hall that he did his best. He lived his life. We know that he was having surgeries, and he had a broken hip, and he suffered 3 heart attacks. Some say that with the surgery and stuff, it's a riskful thing too, but it's trying to get better. But how did it go? But Scott Hall, like I said, he will be missed. He will be missed. Um, you can't you know look at his contributions, a former Intercontinental Champion. Um, Everything that Scott Hall done and stuff. So Scott Hall will be missed. He's gonna be up there with the all time greats and stuff because I know that Scott Hall is up there in heaven saying, "Hey yo, yes, hey yo, indeed." Uh, he will. He paved the way for a lot of people. We'll talk about Scott Hall later um, in the show, and we'll talk about him a little bit later before we end the program. On that note, let's move over to the. We was gonna have the Raw Ring Report, Road to WrestleMania. Yes, the Road to WrestleMania is real for the Raw Ring Report. As you see a couple of these faces, we know we talked about Big E with his broken neck. We'll probably get information sometime soon, but Big E's doing okay, and that's good for Big E. Hopefully he just take it easy and come back whenever he can come back. So we'll help about that later. But we're gonna kick off Raw, the Raw Ring Report, with none other than the man who challenged Stone Cold Steve Austin to come on his show, on the KO show. Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens came out and he just said that, hey, at least I'm gonna get a match against Stone Cold Steve Austin. Not a match. I guess he was trying to go him to a match, but Steve Austin too smart for that. So Kevin Owens had to think a little bit smarter than what he's doing. But Kevin Owens got frustrated about he's getting his opportunity against Stone Cold. He got even more frustrated that he stunned the cameraman for no apparent reason and left the cameraman stunned. So Kevin Owens practicing his stunners because it's going to be the battle of the stunners between him and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold Steve Austin did accept being invited to the Kevin Owens show. So we're going to see Kevin Owens and Stone Cold Steve Austin have that face-to-face confrontation at WrestleMania. So we'll see that going forward. Speaking of that, Finn Balor was in match against Damian Priest. Damian Priest won the match. We don't know what's going to go forward with Finn Balor, but Austin Theory decided to get his hands on Finn Balor. Austin Theory is making enemies left and right. He's making enemies on SmackDown with SmackDown commentator Pat McAfee, and they're supposed to have a match at WrestleMania. And now he's picking a fight with the newly crowned U.S. champion Finn Balor. It's Austin Theory's got championship goals pursuit, but now he needs to focus on he needs to focus on um beat what's his name, Pat McAfee. Well, we'll see what's going on with Theory later on tonight. But also too, the Giant Armies went against King of Zeke in the Battle of the Giants. I feel like this. I mean, they pushing Armies, but who is gonna really take him seriously? I would have thought King of Zoo would be the one, but they just making King of Zoo looking bad and Apollo Crews looking bad. I mean, I don't know about that. I mean, they could have let him. They could have just, if he really wanted some competition, it wasn't gonna hurt. I don't know for sure what's going on. Like I said, they pushing him, but he needs to have a battle against King of Zen. It need to be both of them get the best of each other. It just made King General Hazine look weak, and you know how they go. We know we talked about earlier about Damian Priest. Will he get a shot at United States Championship at defeating Finn Balor after he did what he did in Austin Theory, picking up the pieces? We'll get to that. Plus two, Queen Zelina and Carmella still having problems. They're not focusing because Carmella's more focused on her soon-to-be husband, Corey Graves at ringside, rather than focusing on the task at hand. Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley has been added to the Women's Tag Team Championship match at WrestleMania, thus making a triple threat match with Sasha Banks and the rest of them. We know Queen Zelina is still kind of real, and Liv Morgan got the win on Queen Zelina now. Queen Zelina is still mad and upset with Carmella because Carmella is still spending more time with her fiance, which she's supposed to, but they're still trying to push that YouTube that reality show on the YouTube channel, on the WWE YouTube channel. You would have thought Carmella, how beautiful she is, Corey Graves, you thought that couple would have been on E or I don't know about Bravo. Bravo wouldn't want them. E or USA. USA don't want them. They on the USA Network. It would have made even more sense as Miz Maurice is on USA. Without Total Bells with the Bell Twins on E. But I guess the E and USA rejected it, so the WWE said we'll put you on the YouTube channel. Y'all be the first YouTube couple on the net on the I'm surprised they didn't put it on Peacock, but it is what it is. But we'll see. Speaking of that, in the back, Kevin Owens consulting his friend Seth Rollins. The Seth is nowhere in the WrestleMania card. Seth wanted to be in WrestleMania so bad. A world champion just like Seth Rollins not in WrestleMania, not put in the program. We know Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins had that match at WrestleMania about nearly 2 years ago. defeated Brock Lesnar. Roman Reigns, uh, Cesaro last year, and Seth Rollins don't even have a match or no program at WrestleMania. Seth was desperately wanting to do something, so Kevin Owens was trying to convince him and stuff that think of something. And Seth Rollins thought of something, and Seth Rollins wanted to wrestle Kevin Owens, and the winner will host their own show at WrestleMania. Well, Sonya Deville thought it was a great idea, and it happened. We'll get to the latest on that coming up. Plus, two, Edge just has a new look, a new I don't know Undertaker esque look. Edge talked and Edge ranted about everybody, including Roman Reigns, like he looks like Aquaman and AJ Styles, and talked about his journey. He was coming back for his journey, but it got derailed, and Edge wanted to do something different, and he'll do something with AJ Styles at WrestleMania. He's gonna show the world who the real him is. And he came out with some dark music and some new music. It was okay, so, but um, this new persona, I don't get it, but hey, it works for Edge, and it must be doing something right. But I just don't see Edge in that light, in that fandom. That I don't know, I don't know. And then too, what this proves going forward. Plus two, the Mysterios, they meet Logan Paul and Miz at WrestleMania. The Mysterios was trying to jockey position, and Logan Paul and Miz still get the best of them. So you know how that go. But Logan Paul and Miz will meet Ray and Dominic at WrestleMania in that tag team match. You know, Mysterio, Mysterio gonna break up. You never know. And then too, this picture of Veer Mahal coming. They still got this vignette of him, but they haven't said nothing yet on the vignette. So we'll see with Veer Mahan coming to Raw sooner than what you think. Also, too, number one contender for the women's championship, Bianca Belair took on Doudrop. What Nikki Ash doing with it? I don't know. But Bianca Belair had you know how they go. Bianca Belair did get the win. She picked up Doudrop and land Doudrop down, but Becky Lynch came out of nowhere and did a vicious attack on Bianca. To put Bianca's head through a chair and rammed her braid through the hair, and Becky Lynch getting revenge and payback for what Bianca did to her, whipping her with her hair on her abdomen and causing marks for Becky Lynch. And Becky Lynch didn't like that one bit. So Becky Lynch getting her revenge. We know Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair will meet at WrestleMania on Saturday for the women's championship. Also, too, speaking of that, Rated Arcade Bro had their moment in the sun. Rated Arcade Bro celebrating in the ring, and they celebrated in the ring until they was interrupted by the Street Profits, who might look like they may be turning heel. Street Profits saying that they want a shot at WrestleMania, and Rated Arcade Bro gave them the shot. So Street Profits will challenge Rated Arcade Bro for the Raw Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania. Plus two, we saw Alpha Academy got involved. Alpha Academy don't want to be forgotten neither in their spot, in their place. And so Alpha Academy, who knows, it might not be official yet, but we can tell sooner rather than later, Alpha Academy might want a shot at the tag team titles. Plus two, AJ Styles made this statement saying that he's exiled his judgment, grant mercy, sent on a mount of altarpiece or whatever the hell Edge said. That was kind of, he did say something like that. I don't know what's going on with Edge, but AJ said this on tweet. I don't know where you got this garbage. I don't blame him on that. But one thing I will grant you is a fair warning. I'm coming back to Raw next week, and you have prepared yourself stupid haircut, dramatic lying, and all. You ain't lying. I mean, what does all this lighting got to do? But it is what it is. I don't get it, but it is what it is. AJ Styles looks to return this week, next Monday on Raw. So look for that. And finally, the main event. Kevin Owens went against Seth Rollins and won his match over Seth Rollins. Um, we know earlier Seth Rollins was trying to figure out how to get into the WrestleMania card, and he went against Kevin Owens. If Seth won, he would replace Kevin Owens as the host and host WrestleMania with Stone Cold. But everybody wants to see that confrontation. Kevin Owens put his foot in his mouth, and everyone wants to see Kevin Owens get what's coming to him with Stone Cold Steve Austin. But Kevin Owens won, so KO wins. So we'll see how this all transpires going forward. Seth Rollins still gonna be trying to figure out a way to get into WrestleMania. He got 2 weeks to do so. All right, that ends the Raw Ring report. Let's move forward quickly to hot topics. On hot topics, we can talk about that Queen Sharmell. Sharmell will be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Queen Sharmell paid, led Booker T, which to me, the greatest year ever to me, 2006. Led Booker T to championships. Started off by getting him to focus about who he really was, and went from there, winning the King of the Ring tournament, and then winning the World Heavyweight Championship and being a staple on SmackDown. So Queen Sharmell earns this distinction. She's going into the Hall of Fame, being inducted by Booker T. Congratulations in order to Queen Sharmell on this achievement. Well, a lot of people are still not thinking that. What about the other women wrestlers that paid the way? Which Sharmell paid the way. She was paid the way as a manager, but I would have just got Victoria and induct her. No offense to Sharmell, but get Victoria. I don't know what's going on with WWE, but they feel like they gotta have a woman in there. So when Sharmell fit the mold, she fit the mold as a manager. She was mostly a manager, a valet to Booker T. But they want to put it out there, so hey, it is what it is. Speaking of that, this week. Speaking of that, we're still talking about the passing of Scott Hall. You see right here, WWE left this note right here on the beginning of their package that Scott Hall had passed away. And, like I said, Scott Hall to me was the bad guy. He was a bad guy in real life, but he was cool. Scott Hall led the path of future stars. All these incarnations right here, Scott Hall, from humble beginnings to Razor Ramon to the NWO to a Hall of Famer to just just a advisor. He did a piece on Dark Side of the Ring, which really was funny, and he would give his intake on that. But Scott Hall, took time out, so Scott Hall was that. I always thought I think I kind of picture myself like Scott Hall, like my personality, my trait, like I want to be a pioneer. I know who I don't you don't you know what I don't care. I'm here, and Scott Hall was that person, like all around guy, all around technician, had his demons, but he was able to be human about it and being real about it. So that's why I kind of relate to Scott Hall. Hulk Hogan, Hulk Hogan did leave a message, but we'll get to his message next pro wrestling show for the NXT Ring Report. But Scott Hall left a message. We talked about earlier that Kevin Nash sent this heartwarming tweet message, and about his friend, life without Scott. Scott Hall will be missed. No doubt about it. He influenced a lot of people in the wrestling business to just be themselves and be cool about it. And you know, who can blame him? And they said Scott Hall was the first segment on Monday Night Raw. So Scott Hall made history on Raw when he was the first segment on Raw. So yeah. Also too, forget that Kofi Kingston, all New Day come in and out, but they were supposed to set to do a New Day reunited at WrestleMania, but unfortunately, what happened to Big E with him landing on his neck, that won't be happening anytime soon. But Kofi, Xavier Woods has returned from injury. Xavier Woods returning back. Um, so who knows? Xavier Woods back into the tech. So the bad bees that way and stuff. So Xavier Woods returning back after a road show. Plus, two, could we be seeing the Usos one day winning the Raw Tag Team Championship? If Roman can win both World Championships and unite them as one. Only time will tell on that one. We'll just have to see on that. Also, too, like I said, I want to leave on this sovereign note with Scott Hall raising both Intercontinental Championships. Scott Hall will be missed. And me being Kendrick Dixon so long. We'll see you next time for another edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. May Scott Hall rest in peace.